Nobody knows this stuff better than me.
Nobody knows more about taxes than I do and income than I do.
Nobody knows more about construction than I do.
Nobody knows more about campaign finance than I do.
Nobody knows consultants better than me.
I know more about drones than anybody. Nobody knows much more about technology, this type of technology, certainly, than I do.
Nobody knows more about technology than me.
I know more about technology than anybody. Nobody in the history of this country has ever known so much about infrastructure as Donald Trump. I know the H-1B. I know the H-2B. Nobody knows it better than me. I know more about ISIS than the generals do, believe me.
Nobody understands the president, but I think I understand him as well as anybody.
I mean, I know these people much better than you do. I understand things. I comprehend very well, okay? Better than, I think, almost anybody.
And by the way, who knew the other side of the picture better than me? I knew.
Why did Donald Trump crash the stock market? Maybe he knows some things that most people don't. In this video, I'm gonna talk about 5 possible reasons that he crashed the stock markets. Don't worry if you don't know about it. Nobody knows about stock market than I do, okay? So let's look at the stock market and we're gonna make some predictions and I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing at the end of the video. Welcome to World Traveling Millionaire Investor and Option Trader channel. So let's look at it. S&P 500 dropped 1.78% yesterday and 2.61% Nasdaq yesterday. That's pretty crazy. Dow Jones 0.99% yesterday. Yeah, pretty crazy. Over the past 5 days, 2.02%. 1 month, 4.77%. Year to date, 2.22%. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Even the past 1 month is because of tariff war, trade war intensified. So 4.77%. Nasdaq, the past 5 days, 2.21%. 1 month, 7.45%, right? Look at year to date, 6.28%. So Nasdaq is now in correction. And do you think crash could happen? Crash means that it's more than the stock market drop more than 20%. That will be the crash, right? Dow Jones dropped 0.99% over the 5 days, 1.57%. 1 month, 3.89%. Year to date is a little bit up, but not much difference. So there are 5 possible reasons Donald Trump crashed the stock market, and you're gonna tell me which one is the most probable reason. So Trump, he wants to impose tariff on Canada and Mexico, right? It's pretty big, so that could cause the stock market to crash and also the inflation to go up higher. So why is he so intense, or motivated to impose tariff? Could it be because he is mistaken about tariff? Let's look at this video.
Here that tariffs are a tax on foreign countries.
We will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens.
So we will tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens. Nothing could be farther from the truth because tariff is import tax. So importers pay the tax to the United States, right? When they pay the tax, do you think they're gonna eat the cost? No, they're gonna pass the tax to the consumers because businesses, they're not gonna do anything if they do not make money, right? So if you tax them, increase the price of importing, then they're gonna pass on to the consumer. So it's Americans, citizens, that we need to pay more for our goods and services that are imported. And foreign countries, they don't pay for that, right? So could this be one of the reasons why he's so intentional on imposing tariff, because he's misinformed? What do you think? Comment down below. And there's reason number 4. Does Trump want to impose tariffs on products from Canada, Mexico, China, and even Europe, so all over the world, to raise revenue to pay for the tax cuts for his rich family, relatives, and friends? Because remember, tax cuts going to expire pretty soon, so they need to, in order for them to extend it, they need to find some revenue to make up for the tax cut. Right? So what's the best way? What's the quickest? I wouldn't say the best way. What's the fastest way to raise revenue? Tariff, sales tax, right? Sales tax on the American consumers. So they're gonna raise revenue right away. Then they could pay for the tax cuts. And American consumers usually end up paying for tariff on import goods. So basically sales tax. So tax the poor and pay the rich? What do you think? Comment down below. Reason number 3. Do you think Trump wanted to use tariff to bring companies back to the US? That could be a genius move. Do you think Trump has ulterior motive? Maybe other motive that we don't know. What could it be? Comment down below. So if you put tariff and the buying import products could be much more expensive, right? So in that way, maybe American products look more appealing. American products are already expensive, right? But foreign goods are cheap, so usually people choose to buy foreign goods. But if you put tariff on the import, then American goods become more attractive. So some consumer may switch to using American products, right? That could in turn giving incentive to the companies to manufacture goods in the United States. That's possible, but you also need to remember, if you put tariff on everybody else gonna put tariff on your products. So American products exporters become more expensive. So then foreign countries, consumers, they're not gonna buy American products because your products are so expensive, right? So tariff could be double-edged sword. So you should not be putting tariff for everything. It should be very targeted to the industry that you have advantage. Yeah, you have monopoly, like chips, semiconductor. US has world-leading chips like NVIDIA. So yes, in that situation, if you import chips on foreign countries to use in America, we're gonna put tariff on it. Yes, because we already have monopoly on one of the monopolies. I would say actually Taiwan. Taiwan is 70%, 80%. But in terms of technology, we have the monopoly. So we could do that. So what do you think? Should tariff be targeted or should it be everything? One thing for sure, US trade deficit surged to record ahead of Trump tariffs. Trump wanted to reduce the deficit, but congratulations. Goods and services trade widened 34% from prior month to 131.4 billion just within 1 month. US trade deficit becomes so big. But could it be temporary? What do you think? I hope it's temporary, Reason number 2. Do you think Trump crashed the stock market to push down the long-term treasury interest rate? Remember, he talked about pushing down the long-term treasury interest rate. Yeah, long-term treasury interest rate went down from 4.8 high to 4.19. 4.19 in February 28. This was January 13, so 1.5 months it went down. So do you think he cares about home buyers and consumer, or do you think it is for real estate companies of his family, relatives, and friends? Remember, his family business is in real estate. When interest rate goes down, real estate price goes up. It's good for the business, right? Also companies they borrow money. And if they own, rich people own lots of companies, so they need to pay high interest. So could it be from the companies that they own, or It could also be to reduce the debt. United States also pay interest on the debt. So when interest rate goes down, the interest payment goes down. So that could be effective way to reduce the tax. That would be a very genius move, I would say, right? And do you think he's preparing to keep the power? Right? He wants to pay Americans $5,000 from the savings. He wants to decrease the interest rate so that Americans can borrow more. Do you think he's bribing the Americans so that he can stay power permanently forever? What do you think? Comment down below. And reason number one, do you think Trump crashed the stock market so that his family and his rich friends can buy great companies at cheap prices? Yeah. Why stock market crash? Who benefit the most? The rich people who have money, right? The poor people, they don't even know about stock market, right? And rich people, 80% of them invest in stock market. I would say 80% of stock investors are rich people, right? So around there. So yeah, if you have cash, the company's valuations are so high, what is the one smart way to do? Just push down the price, then you can buy cheaply. What do you think? Do you think this is possible? Comment down below. The biggest concern for economy is coming back right now. Stagflation. During the past 4 years under President Joe Biden, economy was growing really well, and inflation was high everywhere. But America performed much better than Europe in terms of inflation. So American inflation is lower than European inflation. American economy is much better, was much better. So it's okay when economy is growing, the wages going, it's okay to have a little bit of inflation. But stagflation means that inflation is high, but economy is going down. It's not growing. Consumer wages are not growing, right? That would be the worst scenario because you cannot do anything. In order to bring inflation down, you need to raise interest rate. But when you raise interest rate, economy is gonna crash because the companies cannot borrow money cheaply, so they need to go bankrupt. They need to fire people. So the more people lose their job, then the less they can spend. If the less they can spend, the economy is gonna shrink. So that inflation is stay high. So it's very hard. But if you want to reduce the interest rate to stimulate economy, inflation is already high, but economy is bad. You want to stimulate, right? Reduce the interest rate. Inflation will be out of hands. Economy may not grow so fast, right? So that would be the very, very difficult situation for any economist or any Federal Reserve presidents can do. So yeah, that's the biggest concern. So that's why also the stock market crashed, corrected quite a lot. And so what should we do? I'm doing this year. I'm doing this year because nobody knows about stock investing, call option, put options, advanced option better than I do. Okay, so I stay invested in great companies, and we don't want to miss 10 best trading days, which usually follow after the worst days. It may not be consecutively. It may be 5 days consecutively. Maybe another 5 days will be a week later, or maybe 2 weeks later. But if we miss 10 best trading days in any year, it's like we are not investing at all, right? It's the same as we are not investing at all. But if we catch up, if we stay invested during the 10 best trading days, it's much better than stay invested the rest of the year. You can just invest just 10 days, that 10 best trading days. Your performance will be much better than somebody who missed 10 best trading days. So we stay invested. I stay invested. Okay. So that's how I grew my portfolio from June 1st, 2021 to May 25th, 2024. Within 3 years, I more than 17 times their portfolio, 14,000 to 242,000. Okay. Nobody knows about money, financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom that I do. Okay, so if you want to learn more, you can go to my Master Rich Stock Option Crypto channel, go to playlist, learn more about money making, stock investing, call option, put option, advanced options, financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom. The links are in the description comment down below. Share, subscribe.